Hey everyone, it's Harry from Celebrity BBQ, the YouTube channel that teaches you how to master barbecue so you can spread barbecue love. You've never seen me start a video with the ending, but this is one of those kinds of videos because I just spent the entire day on a Sunday cooking 3 kinds of pork. I did a Mangalitsa pork from Hungary. I did an Iberico pork from Spain, very famous pork, considered some to be the best in the world. I also did a Kurobuta, local USA bred Kurobuta. So in this episode, I just want to cover a very short tasting segment because I shot those 3 videos, which you have probably seen already on my channel. I wanted to kind of like end my day with a 3-way throwdown between the Iberico against the Kurobuta against the Mangalitsa, so that in my brain I can kind of form some impressions on how these 3 different types of pigs will taste. Heritage pork breeds are all the rage around the world, especially in America. Everybody's claiming that their heritage breed tastes the best. I've had the opportunity to taste many different kinds of heritage breeds, including the Red Wattle, some Duroc, Berkshire, Kurobuta, now Mangalitsa, and Iberico. Wanted to kind of share with you some of my impressions, having taken that journey of pork perfection. The one here from Iberico pork comes from Spain, which is a kind of a black pig that has tremendous marbling. Then we have the Kurobuta, which is sort of a Berkshire kind of a pork. And then we've got the Mangalitsa, which was originally from Hungary. I was able to source all of them in America. The wonderful thing about living in 2020 is that with the advent of travel and transportation, you can pretty much source meat from Spain all the way to Hungary, all the way USA. I'm gonna eat my way through the 3 pieces of meat. If you wanna see how I cook them, I posted those 3 videos separately so you can see how I cook each of these meats to kind of tease it to perfection. But in this particular short episode, I'm just going to do a side-by-side compare against all 3. I'm going to eat my way starting from my right to my left. I'm going to start with the Mangalitsa. This is from Mangalitsa Estates. Steve sent me some meat. I purchased some butts and brisket. Well, actually not brisket. It's actually a pork brisket. They gave it to me as a complimentary one. But I did buy the rib and the pork belly and also the butt. So this one is the butt. Let me give it a taste it. Super moist, super tender. I did this particular recipe with a scratch-made peach fiery sweet rub. So this is kind of like a low and slow pork butt style. Well, actually not low and slow, I cook it hot and fast. So I did the whole pork butt, like an 8-pound pork butt, literally in 4 hours. So go watch the recipe for this one. So it's really, really good eating, but I want to compare it side by side. This one is the whole Kurobuta rib, where it's a whole side of the rib. I've never seen that before. I found this in the Japanese market of all places. And this is a Kurobuta, which is kind of like a Berkshire pork breed. There were actually 4 different muscles. There was the pork chop, baby back, loin back. It was a spare rib. And then the whole piece of the bacon pork belly was there. I picked the best part I thought was the pork belly. So I'm going to compare a pork belly against the Mangalitsa butt. And this one is against a muscle from the Iberico pork shoulder. I know what you're gonna say, Harry. You're gonna say, Harry, that's not a fair comparison because it's kind of like 3 different cuts of meat from 3 different kinds of pigs. Yes, I know. And of course, you're gonna say, hey, you cook it differently. You kind of smoke grilled, reverse seared the Iberico. You cook the Kurobuta like a rib, low and slow, wrapped in butter and honey. And then you cook the pork butt hot and fast. So, okay, 3 different methods, 3 different meats, so it's not a fair comparison. But it's my channel, so I'm gonna taste it anyway and tell you what I think. Because remember, it's a journey that we take together. I'm gonna eat this one here, which is the pork belly from the Berkshire hog. That is some good eating. Moist, a little fatty. That Berkshire hog just kind of melts in your mouth. Okay, moving on to the last one with the most expensive. This one is $100 for just 1 pound because it was $50 to ship it frozen, shipped to me from Kansas City Prime Foods. And it was like 1 pound, $50, but the shipping was $50. So $100 piece of meat here. This is from Spain. And you have to be a certified rancher in Spain to raise this kind of hogs. They're small hogs, take a long time and eat natural acorns and what they forage in the forest. So I'm gonna have this bite here. I wish you were here. Just absolutely amazing Iberico pork. You don't need a lot of it. It's really oily. It's kind of like eating a piece of Kobe steak where all the oleic acid kind of lingers in your mouth. You taste the complexity of the flavor of the natural pork. There's something magical about oleic acid. For those of you who do not know what it is, it's just unsaturated fat acid. So when you put this in the refrigerator, it will not coagulate. It's going to be like olive oil, even though you keep it down to 36 degrees. I have videos in my channel that you can see when I put the oleic acid in the fridge. The oleic acid did not saturate up and congeal like normal beef fat does. The Mangalitsa, the Iberico, and the Kurobuta, all top notch. I'm just privileged to be able to sit here with you amid this COVID pandemic where we're all in self-quarantine to really enjoy 3 different pork flavors from around the world. What's common about them is that the level of flavor, the unctuousness, the complexity, and the nuance on all 3 are top notch. The bad thing is they're all really expensive. Kurobuta was the least expensive. This whole rib was like $30. The Mangalitsa was over $100, and then the Iberico was over $100. So I got like $200-300 worth of meat here, just myself here and the Mr. Beans. Different flavor profiles. If I were to be grilling a piece of pork, I think I give a nod to the Iberico because this particular muscle that I cook is absolutely fantastic. If I were to be cooking kind of low and slow barbecue style, the Kurobuta came out really well. I had cooked Kurobuta in the past, but the ribs were all kind of small, but I never seen a whole slab of side of a rib of a pig before. Really good eating. Mangalitsa, absolutely top notch also. So these 3 meats, right, it's hard for me to label it 1, 2, 3 because I cook them so differently in different styles. But if I had to kind of like just today alone with just 3 data points, which is not conclusive, I really like the Iberico and the Mangalitsa kind of type, and then the Kurobuta maybe a smidgen behind. So if I had to rate it, this was a 10 and this was a 10, this is a 9.5, just under today's condition. I'm sure if I cook more of it and get to know how to tease the maximum potential out of these 3 meats, I'm going to be able to elevate it to up at least a couple of more notches. This is an expensive meat, so it's not something I would buy and cook all the time, but it's a rare treat to be able to cook all 3 meats side by side today in my home on a Sunday afternoon and share the results with you. No video of mine is complete without Mr. Beans having his sample here, so I'm going to cut a little piece from all 3, give it to him, and let him tell me which one he likes the best. We're going to give him the Mangalitsa, the Kurobuta, and the Iberico pork. Let us know which is best. So just to recap what I did have: Mangalitsa, Kurobuta, Iberico. Let's give it a shot. All work for you as a barbecue judge. So you have to work really hard today, Mr. Beans. Okay. Iberico, Kurobuta, and Mangalitsa. Go ahead. Oh, he went for the Mangalitsa first, so he smells. He went for Kurobuta and Iberico next. So Beans picked the one from Hungary first, followed by the one from USA, followed by the one from Spain. Highly unscientific test by Mr. Beans and me, but we had such a lot of fun shooting this episode. So from our home to you, lots of love from Mr. Beans and Harry. Please be safe, take care, and cook barbecue.